Welcome to Conversations with the Candidates. I am Thor Jourgensen, City Editor of the Daily Item. Our guest today is Marven-Rhode Hyppolite, who is a candidate for Ward 5 City Councilor. Welcome, Marvin.
Thank you for having me.
You're quite welcome. Tell us, please, a little about yourself.
Well, my name is Marven-Rhode Hyppolite. I've lived in downtown pretty much all my life. And I grew up here in Lynn. I went to the school system here. I went to a Carnegie at first, then I went to Breed, and then I went to Classical. And then after I graduated, went to UMass Dartmouth, and I studied political science there. I got really active there as well with different organizations like Phenom, which worked with the state to try and push for students' issues like student debt loans and things of that nature. And got involved with the College Democrats, just going around, really being active in political campaigns and really understanding how politics works all around the state. And that was incredibly interesting. And so now I came back in Lynn, and I want to see if I can bring my experiences here. I definitely noticed a lot of things throughout my travels around the state and getting involved, and I see a potential for us here in Lynn. So,
any additional accomplishments or achievements you've worked on that you'd like to stress and underscore?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the biggest achievement for me is actually my education, is actually having gone through the public school system here and knowing how hard my mother came. My mom is obviously Haitian immigrant, and she came here, and I mean, she worked so hard and pushed for it. For me to go through the public school system, to have a good enough GPA, to go to college and become student government president and work on issues and really kind of hone my skills. And I think for me, that's by far the biggest accomplishment.
What is the biggest issue facing the city of Lynn, Marvin?
I definitely feel I definitely know it's the high rent prices. There are a lot of people in the city who are literally struggling to pay their rent. There was one woman actually who I handed my flyer and literally ripped it and threw it at me and said, "You're not going to be able to help me. You can't help me." And she's in tears, and she's talking about how she's getting evicted. Her rent ran up $300, and that's unsustainable. And when you look at that woman, you look at the fact that she had to make sacrifices, like my mom and a lot of other people in the city. They have to make sacrifices of working more hours, which means less time at home, which means less of a focus on education, and even on the political process. So now, you can't get that supplementary education at home, and you're not able to pay attention in politics. So you can't get the resources that you need. And I look at my ward in Ward 5, there's a lot of people who need those resources. So I think that's really the biggest issue facing the city, for sure, the city, yeah.
What, as a city councilor, could you do to tackle that issue and address some of those concerns?
Oh, for certain. Number one is we need to start bringing these issues to our constituents. There are a lot of people in the city who don't even know what a ward is or where they live or who their councilor is. People are not necessarily involved. And as a city councilor, I can bring those issues to the residents of Lynn. And we're looking at the education system, which, I mean, is the least funded in the state. Look, I certainly signed on to a statewide petition that would tax millionaires so that they're paying their fair share. And that would actually free up $1 billion for the state that would be going to transportation and education. And those things can be put in there. There's also grant writing. Lynn qualifies for a lot of money. We should be putting research into grant writing to find ways to supplement that, for sure.
Can the council do anything effectively to help people with the high price of rents and provide them some sort of relief?
I think so, for certain. Number one, we definitely also receive money for things like rental assistance and things of that nature as well. But also, one thing we can do when, for instance, a business is coming to Lynn, I think one of the stipulations is that they help to invest in our city. We can use if they're going to be here, if they're going to be participating in the city, that there should be an incentive to put some money towards our community so that we can put towards helping people with their rent and things of that nature.
This is obviously a question you've worked on presenting as you make your way around Ward 5 neighborhoods. Why should someone vote for you?
Well, number one, I'm from here. I live in Lynn. Seriously, I grew up here. I know. I went to Connery. I went to Breed. I went to Classical. Got involved here, and I'm someone who struggled through the city. Someone who struggled for their education. I'm certainly a student who struggled in high school, and I went to college. So I understand what it's like to struggle, and I also see what the potential is, what the potential of the city can be. Having been someone who went out also to venture out and get their education and look around the state and seeing what's working and seeing what hasn't worked.
Thank you very much. This has been Conversations with candidate for Ward 5 City Councilor Marven-Rhode Hyppolite. We appreciate your time. I'm Thor Jourgensen, City Editor of The Daily Item. For more election coverage, read The Daily Item and itemlive.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Pleasure.